Okay. Cool. So before I kind of begin my topic, I just want to let you guys know that John Hall and myself are doing a podcast called The Woo Side. You may have seen the first episode where we interviewed Tom Silver. And today we just interviewed somebody very special, and the topic is telepathy and ADHD and how they relate to each other. And I'm not going to give anything away because I want you guys to watch that. John is editing it right now, and then that will be posted to my website at first, but then we're going to move it over to the Woo Side website. YouTube channel. We're actually building a separate YouTube channel for the Woo Side podcast, but right now we're streaming them on my channel just to get it out to viewers. But as soon as we get that channel up and going, please go over there and like and subscribe to that. So that channel is all about talking about anomalous phenomenon that people don't want to talk about, or people are too scared to talk about. But it's stuff on, that's kind of woo-woo, kind of fringy, and kind of far out, and that's okay. Like if that's not your cup of tea, cool, don't go over and watch it. But if you love that stuff, if I kind of eat that stuff up with a spoon. I'm so curious. I just love that topic, and it's just a passion of mine, and it's a passion of John's, and so we decided to get together and do this podcast together. Our goal is to do 1 hour or an hour and a half each week, and see how we, and just go from there, and have wonderful speakers on, and or just have like great conversations with each other and you guys. So if there's any kind of like topics that you would like for us to talk about, feel free to leave it in the comments here, and I will I'll bring them to John, and we'll if it's something that sounds like really cool, then we'll talk about it. If you're an expert in something, let us know, and we may have you on. Okay, so what I want to talk about just for a few moments today is I think this is a lot of people's experience, but something that I'm just kind of starting to realize for myself, is that, so let me just sort of like back up and begin with, I was in a very depressed state starting the beginning of October, and I was in bed a lot, and I did not want to get up out of bed. I would get out of bed to do what I had to do, take the kids to school, take a client. I wasn't actively trying to get clients. I was hoping that clients would cancel because I didn't want to deal with people. And which sounds silly now, but at the time I just was feeling so low, and I was thinking, well, maybe this is seasonal depression, right? Because we are moving into October, we're moving into the autumn, and the season is changing. Except where I live in Atlanta, it's like perfect temperature now. It hasn't gotten cold, and we've had just the most beautiful days in October, just the most beautiful skies, and perfect weather, like 75-degree weather, right? It hasn't really gotten cold. And in the evenings it might drop to like 50, but not like really cold and not really dark. Yes, it's getting darker earlier, but anyways, I kind of decided I couldn't really say that the season was causing this depression. I couldn't really figure out why I was depressed, thinking maybe I need to go on medication. I don't understand why I'm depressed. It did what I kind of could do with my self-hypnosis, but when you're kind of in a weird frame of mind, it's just like I just didn't feel like doing anything. I was like, almost felt like I was procrastinating, but yet I was still like getting things done that needed to be done, but when I wasn't doing things that absolutely had to be done, I was just in bed, either watching TV, which I never do, but just in bed, just watching TV, sleeping in late. I was getting my sleep all messed up. I was, a bit insomniatic, and just all over the place. And then I was driving. I had a client, and I was driving to the office, and I was feeling bad, and I was crying. And I realized I have cried every day this month. Like, what is going on with me? And it wasn't female hormones or anything like that. I knew that, but I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then it struck me, and I knew what it was all of a sudden. And what it was is that I am experiencing grief because my best friend Mike died of COVID, or COVID-related illnesses, last year around this time, right before Halloween. Halloween was his favorite season, and I think I was just really subconsciously missing him, and I don't think I properly mourned his death when he died. And that's kind of what happens with me when people go through some kind of serious illness or emergency. I feel like I have to be on and capable, and I can't break down, and I have to help people, and I have to get through it. And it's just, I go into this like get through it mode, and I become very competent and helpful, and and I don't let my emotions get to me. So I don't really, and I had like one good cry, back, maybe back in January over it. And then I kind of thought, well, maybe that kind of cleared it out. And that really wasn't, I'm sad. I really miss him, but also I know that, he was a beautiful soul. And I do have the belief that the soul goes on after this, whatever this is, or that consciousness continues. And I can feel his consciousness continuing. I feel him very close to me a lot. But I kind of realized that I was grieving his death, or, mourning his death. And that's what this is. And once I realized that, it just put everything into perspective for me. And then I've got more energy, and I was able to, I'm able now to do stuff and to really honor Mike. And in this year, I'm really decorating for Halloween, and going all out for Halloween, and inviting friends over and stuff like that, because that's what Mike would have wanted us to do. Again, it was his favorite holiday, so I'm honoring him this way, in my way. And that has actually made me feel better. I say all of this because I know that some of you who are watching this are in this very low state, and maybe you can't figure out why you're depressed or why you're sad. And it could be that somebody close to you who has died, that maybe you're still mourning for them. I think it takes, I could be wrong on this, but I think it takes 2 years to not get over, but to get through the death of a loved one. And I know they say, like, don't make any big decisions when a loved one dies, like, especially if it's a spouse or a child or something. And it's like, don't, like, sell your house, or don't buy a new car or whatever. Like, don't make big decisions for 2 years, because you're still in the grieving process, and maybe you're not really thinking clearly. And maybe you're not going to make the best decisions in those 2 years. So just keep in mind that if checking yourself, checking your own emotions, and seeing is this really depression? Is it seasonal? Is it clinical? Do I think it's clinical? If it is, then you'll need to go see a doctor. Probably. Or am I just grieving? Am I just in mourning? Am I just grieving my loved one? And if that's the case, then what I recommend doing is to honor them in some way. Just find a way of honoring them. Whatever that means to you, like you know what that is for yourself and for that other person. So for me, it's going to be like really celebrating Halloween and getting into the spirit of Halloween this year and enjoying it to my fullest. It could be, planting a flower garden for your loved one, or it could be, going to their favorite place or watching their favorite movie, or some way, just feeling, just honoring them in some way, just sort of keeping their spirit alive in some way, right? And just kind of let yourself off the hook and be easy on yourself, and don't beat yourself up if you're a little depressed over that, because it's natural. You know, and just give yourself the space that you need to breathe. Just give yourself the space, because I thought, maybe I'm just burnt out. Maybe I've been working so much and I'm burnt out. But I think what it really was is that I didn't give myself the space to heal. And I needed that. I needed that downtime. I needed that time to grieve. And I needed that time, I was having, besides all of that, I was having these like existential thoughts and existential crises and all of that, which got me, not in a good place. But then I was able to find my way back to a good place, and I feel a lot better now. So just, that's some food for thought for you. And again, if you actually, if nobody has died, you're not mourning somebody, and you are depressed, then you might need to see somebody about that. And you can also see, if you have a clinical hypnotherapist in your local area, they can help you work through grief therapy, especially if they're a therapist, a clinical hypnotherapist. They can usually help you work through grief therapy, some mild depression, things like that. So you could go, try them first if you want to try the natural way first, and then, I should say go see a doctor. Well, at the same time, go see a doctor, use a hypnotherapist as an adjunct. There you go, to whatever treatment you're getting from your doctor, and you're going to be okay. All right, guys, that's it for me for today. I love you, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.